Texas Tech football is officially back as the Red Raiders are set to open up fall camp tomorrow, Wednesday, July 31st. And in today's video, we'll recap head coach Joey McGuire's press conference, some notes that he had about the offensive line, Micah Hudson, Behren Morton, and much, much more. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And if you're excited about Texas Tech football officially being back, I just want you to do one thing for me. Like the video. That's it. You already know this is your one-stop shop for everything Texas Tech football and men's basketball, whether it's on the gridiron, the hardwood, recruiting trail, and everything in between. This is the most interactive community on YouTube for Texas Tech fans. So if you want to be a part of it, you can hit that subscribe button. You can turn on that notification bell. But let us know you like what we're doing here by simply liking the video. And hey, it helps us to know that you're excited about Texas Tech football as well. Now, there's a lot to unpack on the season opening press conference from Joey McGuire. There was a lot of notes that he had, and Jacob Harris did a great job of summarizing them over on the Scarlet and Black Insider. And if you haven't already, head on over to the Scarlet and Black Insider to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech on the fastest growing Texas Tech community on the internet. Enough with the ads on my part. I digress. Here we go. Let's jump right into it, starting with the offensive line and what Joey McGuire had to say. Now, the big talking point for the Red Raiders on the offensive line has really been the left tackle position. Who is going to start at left tackle? I think right now, as it stands, it would be Sterling Porcher, However, Joey McGuire did say that he tweaked his hamstring last week, but he was clocked at running 20 miles per hour. That's insanely fast for an offensive lineman. Joey McGuire went on to say that Caleb Rogers will play both left tackle and right guard, while Sterling Porcher tries to recover from that tweaked hamstring. That means Davon Carter will move into the right guard spot. Now, at center, things get interesting because I mentioned Davon Carter will slide into the right guard spot. There's also the possibility he plays center. He is going to be battling out the center position with Sheridan Wilson, who has been one of the standouts this year for Texas Tech through spring and the summertime of workouts and spring ball. Like, he stood out, okay? So that's going to be the competition to watch when it comes to the offensive line. Who starts at center? If Porcher is going to miss time, and we don't know how much time he's going to miss at this point, I would be pretty surprised if it's not Wilson at center, Carter at right guard. You got Scurry at left guard, then Ty Buchanan at right tackle, with Caleb Rogers filling in at left tackle until Sterling Porcher is back, and then the shift happens where Caleb Rogers moves to right guard. Now, elsewhere on the offense, you have position battles, most notably at the running back 2 spot. You know who running back 1 is. Arguably the best running back in all of college football in Taj Brooks. But RB2 is interesting. We've had our RB preview here on the channel, I should say, and I had Cameron Valdez as the number 2 running back. I did preface to say that it would not shock me whatsoever if Cam Dickey takes over the number 2 spot in that RB group. That's apparently already a position battle going into fall camp. And Cam Dickey has been one of those guys that has stood out and been, much like Sheridan Wilson, a standout not only in the spring, but the summertime. I mean, go look at a photo of Cam Dickey. He looks like a grown-ass man, and he's 18 years old. Elsewhere on the position battles, on the offensive front, you have the tight end position. Basically, Joey McGuire said, hey, pick your starting tight end. We've got 3 of them, and he's not really joking. We actually put our tight end preview out here on the channel on Monday, and I had Jalen Conyers at number 1, Mason Tharp as a 1B, and then John Carlos Miller as the 3rd tight end. I still think that that's where it ends up, but it's a loaded tight end room, and yes, people, it will be used more this year if, this is the if here, the offensive line is better, and that's a sizable if. Now, wide receiver, who does Micah Hudson replace? Because right now, it seems as though the 3 starting wide receivers will be Caleb Payday Douglas on the outside at the X. You've got Josh Kelly on the inside, and then Coy Aiken. If I had to guess, I would think that you move Josh Kelly to the outside and you have Micah inside pushing Caleb Payday Douglas. And yes, we're going to say Payday every time here. Get over it if you don't like it. It's a baller-ass nickname. To the bench, but he'll play meaningful reps, obviously. Shifting to other positional battles, This one in the secondary, it sounds like right now, and we've been reporting this over on the Scarlet and Black Insider from what we're hearing, and I've said it multiple times here on the channel as well. I think Chapman Lewis actually starts in the secondary for the Red Raiders over the likes of Jordan Sanford. And I think that Lewis starts at the free safety spot opposite of CJ Baskerville. And that's kind of where we're at right now. You also have, in terms of who's going to be the star position, a battle there, according to Joey McGuire, and Baylor transfer A.J. McCarty, and then Brendan Jordan. I like both there. Brendan Jordan popped on tape last year when he was out there for the Red Raiders as a true freshman. So he is a guy to monitor. Elsewhere, when it comes to what else stood out, and Jacob Harris did a great job once again over on the Scarlet and Black Insider, really pinpointing what Joey McGuire had to say in terms of what stood out in his presser today at Local Media Day. Jacob says this, Conyers, and reporting for Joey McGuire, obviously, McGuire said this in his presser, and Jacob is reporting it, that Conyers will line up everywhere, including tight end, outside wide receiver, fullback, and wildcat quarterback. Now, this was something that we had discussed in the spring when Jalen Conyers actually committed to Texas Tech, that we heard they wanted to use him in a multitude of ways, and Joey McGuire reiterated that in the press conference there. Another thing that really stood out was when we talked about the defensive tackles here on the channel, I've gotten some backlash here in the comments section saying there's no way that Joey McGuire actually believes there's 7 defensive tackles that can play in that rotation. Well, he said it again today, okay? And again, you got to take the man at his word, and I understand that, and maybe it dwindles down to 5 because of, health or just lack of production at the DT spot. But they've got a lot of guys that, albeit aren't proven at a high level, you can see the certain skill sets and traits that they could go to that level of being a, maybe not, Tony Bradford or Jalen Hutchings, but a serviceable Big 12 defensive tackle. And Texas Tech has 4 or 5 of those guys that I'm looking at in terms of, okay, I could see them making an impact on the defensive line. Joey McGuire mentioned that as well. On the offensive line, though, as I ramble here and go all over the place, just trying to get my thoughts to you guys here, Dylan Shaw will be the backup left guard behind Vinny Scurry, the Toledo transfer. Joey McGuire also said, expect offensive skill to be much improved. If you listen to the long form of the Back to 12 podcast, Lyle Leong, and rightfully so, myself as well. I don't want to throw Lyle under the bus or just put him out there on an island by himself per se. He called out the wide receivers for Texas Tech last year. He said they simply weren't good enough at creating separation and being friendly to the quarterback, whoever that may be for Texas Tech. I expect that to change. Now, when it comes to the biggest things that stood out to me in terms of a positive for Texas Tech, and it's all about the health of 2 guys that really stood out to me. We talked about it here already. What does a healthy Behren Morton mean? Well, Joey McGuire reiterated there are no restrictions on Behren Morton. 0, none whatsoever. He went to go see a specialist in Florida, and there are no longer any restrictions on him. He is a full go to start fall camp, as is 5-star wide receiver Micah Hudson, who had a meniscus injury. He had surgery. He missed spring camp, rehab through the summer. He is 100% back at the start of fall camp, and that could be a huge impact for the Red Raiders at the wide receiver spot. You've also got a guy that was mentioned a couple times at Media Day, out at Big 12 Media Day, as well as Local Media Day in Lubbock, Isaac Smith. You remember him the last time that he played, he had a standout bowl game performance. Unfortunately, missed all of last year due to a knee injury. He is back, and he will be the presumed starter at the field in boundary end is what they call it on this team, just basically edge there, where he can drop back or rush the passer. His toughness, Joey McGuire said, was missed desperately last year. He is going to be an integral part of the Texas Tech defense. So again, a lot there to unpack. I mean, I'm excited to have Texas Tech football back. I know I rambled there. There was a lot of notes. Again, shout out to Jacob Harris. He was on it all day long for the Scarlet and Black Insider. I'm here just saying what kind of stood out to me as well. And a lot of the things that Jacob wrote down stood out to me. And after listening to Joey McGuire, those were the standouts as well. But let me know by simply liking the video if you are excited about Texas Tech football being back. You can tell I am, because if you know me and you watch these videos, I ramble when I get excited. My wife knows better than anybody, but y'all know too if you watch me on a daily basis. I feel like I rambled for a good 10 minutes there. A lot of good info. Don't get me wrong, right? I put a lot of good info out there. It is Twister season. Also Deadpool season. Fantastic movie. Please don't come at me for the copyright stuff there. But hey, Texas Tech football's back. I'm rambling. This is what y'all are here for. If you want daily videos on your Red Raiders, you know what to do. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube. Right here, over 10,000 strong on the Back to 12 podcast channel.